guess that's it. Cut her up for some reason. Let me see. Maybe I'll do that again. All right. Here we are. A new screen deal here. I don't know what the heck is up with this. Oh, that's what's up with that. There you are. There you be. Yo, can you hear me? Yeah. We got this new thing on the left-hand side of the screen. The demo screen and a show on stage. I mean, I don't know what the hell that's about.
But it works, huh?
Yeah, 29 back in Milwaukee.
Yep, that's what it is here. Frost on all the vehicles this morning.
29, it's probably 70 something right here. Man, we had a lot of rain this year in March down here. Jeez, today we actually got a little sun later in the day. It was nice to see a blue sky. Not totally blue, but enough to recharge my what do you call it, light I got put up.
Solar light.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a couple more of them, though. I'm gonna get some smaller ones for above the doorways and. Well, the way I got it lit up out there, one day I'll show you. It's nice recessed lighting, but you know, you need it. You might want it when the power goes out. Plus, just have the solar on. You know.
Yeah.
Something to do. Not totally wasting your money. I think they're around 5,000. One light, one big light. I got that daylight light. I don't know, you know, it doesn't say anything on the box, but I finally found some interior recessed lights that are soft white. So I'll be replacing the daylight, you know, the daylight ones. Because they're not big on lamps or nothing here. Just
Yep.
Hey, when you coming over here?
I don't know. Got to get my daughter out of high school first, and she got another year after this year.
You might have to get up out of that chair. You never know.
I don't know. I was watching that. You ever watch that guy called Regular Guy?
The
Canadian
cartoon thing?
Right. Pardon?
A cartoon?
No. He's a YouTuber in the Philippines.
No.
He just
no.
he just has his backpack and he rents a motorcycle. He's in Mindanao now. He's down in the Muslim area. He drove all the way down to Zamboanga. Why I don't know, but
stupid.
Yeah. And he drove through Cotabato City, which he probably shouldn't.
Cotabato?
He's on his way over to Davao now. And
yeah, that that one guy, I forget his name. Check out the Rileys, just a channel. He is like the only pale faced guy in that area. It's pretty much hardcore Muslim area,
Right.
but he's the one who went to Hawaii for some kind of treatment or something. So
Yeah, my wife, ever since she got here, she had a good friend, Filipino from Zamboanga City, and her husband went there, to meet her and get her. But
you know what? You know what?
he
It's
survived it.
it's not unheard of to have foreigners ripped out of their hotel rooms, taken out of there by force.
Right.
So no thanks on that one. They can
Yeah,
come
this
over
was
here.
it was like 25 years ago now, but
You know.
I mean they did that shit back then too. But
Well, they got
he's pretty tall, pretty pale skinned guy, and he survived it. But I wouldn't go there,
there's a guy Bob Martin. He got a channel. He has a channel. He moved back to America. He's in Indiana, and he went on. He went to Boston, to Tawi Tawi.
Yeah.
You know, in fact, he wouldn't do it now. He said, but
Right.
in fact, the picture taken with the governor. But Boston or Tawi Tawi. Beautiful architecture, man. You know, the painting on it and everything.
Yep.
But he wouldn't take a trip down there in today's world. But they got the Poland, man, nice city, right? Like too close. Well, not my doctor, but the doctor for the foot therapy thing, whatever it's called. I forget what it's called.
Podiatrist.
No, it's a foot. There's this new business open up here. Plus, like you take 600 peso for 2 hours.
Foot massage or what?
No, it's not a massage. It's a detox.
Oh.
It's a new technology, but people say naysayers say don't do what they say it does. But for me, I had a habit of putting pressure on my left foot ankle with the right one, and I got it all black and blue, and it never did.
Do you ever have your feet swell up?
Yeah, all the time.
Oh, because mine did. I just noticed this past week.
Yeah, you got elevated.
I almost went to the doctor, but I looked up. I saw that could be a sign of heart disease, and
Well, it's not good for circulation.
right. If you sit around too much, and I go to the gym, 3 or 4 days a week, and I notice after I'm going to the gym, because I always walk like at least a mile, and then I, exercise on the weight machines. But I notice when I come home from the gym, it's not as swollen. But yeah, it's just circulation, I guess.
You're
But
pumping blood, man, but it's not. I had it sitting down, and I had it before I came here. And I was by a friend's house, and he was working on my car, and changing a tire, and I was standing up for quite a while, and it started, getting all puffed up. But I learned that from one of my wife's uncles there before he died. He said, "Now you gotta pop that up."
yeah,
But anyway,
I'm due. It's time of year for my annual physical anyway, so I better go get checked on. Because I've noticed, I'm getting out of breath pretty easily,
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's kind of a signal of heart, failure too.
I got this. I know my lung capacity was 93, and it was 93 for a long time. I don't think I've ever had good lung capacity, and I don't walk around no more like I was when I got here. So it wouldn't take long. I take a breath in. It's like I'm ready to cough.
Yeah, I quit smoking like 12, 15 years ago. Cigarettes. I still
Well,
vape every once in a while. Not
my
often.
uncle, my dad's youngest brother died. He had throat cancer. He was 80, I think 80, 81. But when I saw him at my brother-in-law's funeral, I was 47 back then. He had quit, and he ended up getting throat cancer, later on.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's a
I
bit.
just,
You think, you live all those years and then you're like 80 something and then the cancer shows up. I mean, that's
yeah.
a
Well,
long
nobody,
time.
I mean, whether you're 80 or 20, man, it's just nobody wants to die.
Right.
You know, my grandpa said that to my dad when he was 61. No, 63. 63. Well, I'm trying to get rid of every other generation dies younger.
Yeah.
I gotta get to October, and then I'll be a skate all the way to 85 then. My
Well,
great grandpa,
what'd your dad die at? What age?
85.
85.
His grandfather died at
So you're in the
85.
younger cycle now, right?
Yeah. His,
Well,
his
my dad died at 78.
oof.
I think his dad, let me see, 41 and 25. His dad died at like 66, I think.
Well, I gotta get it past June because my dad's dad died 5 years after his dad. My great grandfather died in 63, and my grandfather died in 69. And my dad died in June 30th of 2020, maybe something like that. So it'll be 5 years this June. So all important year here. But my throat always feels strained and small or whatever. I
Yeah,
was out talking. I was
we're
out
not
talking.
like the old folk, like our grandparents. They didn't eat all the processed chemical stuff
Oh,
we've been eating, so
my
we've been
my
poisoned.
my dad's my dad's grandfather, my great grandfather. They ate a lot of cheese and drank wine. And, he lived to 85, but
Right.
my great grandmother died in 1955. She was like 74, maybe.
Yeah.
I think she was born in 1880 something, 1881. I don't know, something like that.
My grandfather was born in 1875, and
Yeah, that's before mine.
he came here as a 22-year-old on a boat in 1897.
Well,
Came to
my
New
grandma,
York and
yeah,
worked his way down. He had a sponsor in Troy, New York, because I saw his immigration papers. He had sponsor in Troy, New York. They had a lot of Eastern European, labor for railroads, coal mines, stuff like that. So, but he eventually worked his way down to Pittsburgh. That's why he ended up there working
my
on the
grandpa,
railroad.
my grandpa's on the list in Ellis Island. He was, I think he was 14 when he came here. Something like that. His brother.
I've never been to LSI. My wife, in fact, she went there with some
Oh,
of her Filipino girlfriends, but I've never been there.
My sister was there. My youngest sister was there, and she told me about it. So here's what happened with today. I kind of laugh at all the friends I have of different nationalities complain about how they had this happen to them and that, and so did my dad's side, Italian side. So my grandpa is in school. He's about 4, 5 years older than his brother. And my other auntie was born till 24, but they didn't know any English, and he'd be in school, and the teachers would whack him in the fucking head with that what do you call it, on the hands
ruler and
too.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that big long pointer, the big long stick with the pointer on it. That's what they got for not being able to speak correctly.
Yeah, that's
So,
what. See, my dad never taught us how to speak Polish. You know,
you know,
because
you
his
know,
parents, he learned it because they spoke it at home. But his parents said you need to, you're here, you need to learn English. So but and
yeah,
they were very. I guess they spoke very broken English. My mother, because my dad's mother lived with them a little while, as a widow when she was a widow, and each of the kids kind of took turns letting grandma live with this one or that one.
uh,
But yeah, my mom said she spoke very broken English, but all her kids and my dad never taught us how to speak Polish. When
my
he talked to his
grandfather.
brother, when he'd get on the phone with one of his brothers, and he didn't want my mom to know what they're talking about, he'd speak Polish. So, but
That's what my
other than
grandparents
that,
did.
he
Well,
never taught us, never even tried. So
that's what my dad's mom and dad never did either. Because I guess he didn't want them going through this hardship that they did.
so your
But
dad
listen,
didn't speak Italian? No.
no, my dad, no, they weren't taught. No, my
No.
my grandfather said, "You live in America, you speak American."
Oh yeah. Huh.
Well, because of the hard time they had, they got treated like fucking
Yeah.
shit.
Can you
Well, you know what?
imagine? Can you imagine that boat trip? To originally come here, that had to be take a couple months, right? I mean,
Yeah, stinking fucking kinds of shit. Well,
yeah.
listen, and today on the news all the time, I mean, uh, some of these governors too, they're gonna let in their state, they're gonna let the trans per, participate, in girls'
Sports, yeah,
sports.
right.
Listen. My point being, like when the NFL started, there were like 6 teams or something like that, 6 or 8. So they all played each other quite a bit until the league grew. So that's what you do with those folks. If you get 2 teams or 3, you gotta have 3 teams. You gotta field 3 teams to make it, to make it worth it. But they start just like that. See, in today's world, everybody wants to start out on top without fucking doing anything to get
Yeah,
there.
without earning it. Yeah.
Hey, listen, every time I see that on TV, I think to myself, nobody has to fucking like or do nothing they don't want to do. You can't make people like you. You either like a person for the person or you don't.
Right.
All the laws you make, and all the fucking complaining and all that other shit, we're still here.
Yeah.
I mean, but you know what? In today's world, I had a guy who rode my bus. He was in the army at a teacher, grade school, elementary, and he went in the army at the same time I did. And he went to college to the GI Bill, I guess, to become a teacher. And he said today's like by when I was going or you were going, you had to have your credits or you didn't graduate. Now they're
Right.
letting these people. Now they're letting them graduate no matter what.
And he's freaking.
So
I saw this one on the news. This girl, she's Hispanic, right? And she's suing her high school now that she's in college. She's suing her high school because she can't read and write in English. And she graduated high school. How did she get in college? First of all, how did she graduate? Second of all, how did she get into college, right? When you can't
you,
read
you
or
know
write
what?
English. She said
Yeah,
all her stuff was like translate text to email or whatever. You know how you talk in and
well,
it texts for you.
at least she
Translate.
had that.
Right,
Well, my grandfather didn't have that.
right. I know, but how did she graduate in the U.S. Graduated high school not able to read or write? And remember the football players? I forget who that one guy was. He said he was in college. He was a college football player and he couldn't read or write.
I don't get it. You know what? That girl's probably she's Spanish.
Yeah.
Well, they just here you go, here you go. When I was at
But I mean, how do you take the college entrance exam to get
I
in it,
know that.
right?
Yeah, that's exactly me. When we were at my daughter Amy's college graduation back in look at what year would that be? 22 or 23 or whatever it was. They graduated high school in 2011. So well, it was before that. Fuck. So it's probably 20, yeah, probably 2020. I remember something. No, it was before that. But anyway, there was a girl on stage, and I don't know if she was a sanctuary bullshit. I don't know how they differentiate all that shit. You know, sanctuary cities. You've got a federal law, and you're breaking it all the time. But she was on stage. Now, this is her statement her speech that she made would have been something when we were young. Today's world, she was up and she said, I can't believe that a person like me was able to do what I did or get to go to college and graduate. There, you can't believe you're more than believe. If you would have been back 30 years, prior, you might have been you might have had a pretty good whole lucky me thing, but
Yeah.
you got older, just fucking please, you know. People every day they bitch like what's his name's Prince Harry's wife. She gets on Oprah Winfrey, the queen of fucking her and Al Sharpton. So they get on TV and they're talking about how the royal family was wondering about the kid, whether he turned out black or white or whatever. They were all worried, so they're on this big racist kick. Fucking always have been racist, always will be. The world is like that. You can't stop it. And it isn't a boohoo thing in today's world. You go and you do what you got to do to survive. To make a living, to get educated. We're
You don't see people protesting in China, huh? That China's racist, right?
well,
No.
they try to, but then they get knocked.
Well, yeah, they get run over by a tank. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, they just don't. People here. I mean, it should be obligation for every kid, like out of high school. If you don't go in the military, go somewhere in the world, especially a third world country. So you might gain some appreciation, for what you got.
Yeah, a lot of folks they think you can come here and have well for one, if you're on SSI, that isn't the retiree one. That's the national welfare government.
Right. Right.
You're not supposed to leave the country on that. But yet there are people that go, well, can you use your Medicare in Guam? Yeah. Okay, that's all I need to know. Guam's expensive, If you're only getting the max for SSI is I think $997, but
That's the max a month.
that's the max a month.
Yeah.
So all them dudes that when I was working, they'd be getting on the bus. Everything they did was subsidized. Their bus fare, they were
Right.
half price. Everything was half this, half that. You just had to make the effort to go wait. It might take you 8 hours to get all that to go to we call it was a place called UMOS. It was like a welfare center for Spanish speaking people that couldn't speak English very good, but they were all government funded. So they told my friend one day he walks in there for I forget for what. They said, no, sir, we don't do that here. He said, you're federally funded, right? State funded, right? Yeah. Well, then you gotta wait on it, So you just got to spend time if you want to get your entitlements or whatever they call them. Bad word, but that's all it takes out of your day, Then the rest of it's free. I had a niece complaining to me. I said, she goes, it took me 8 hours. I was this, that. I said, did you get what you needed? She said, yeah. I said, well, what are you complaining about?
So yeah, you didn't have to work for it. Most people
Fuck
got
no,
to go to work 8 hours a day. You're
So
complaining
you
you
gotta
had to
go.
go one time and wait 8
Yeah,
hours.
You
Be
couldn't
set
go.
up what for another year or something, right?
Yeah. Well, that or quarterly. I don't know, but I said, well, are you in a hurry to go back home and watch some reruns or something?
Right.
So she was walking dogs probably for cash. When my dad stopped driving when he was like 83, got in an accident. So my niece used to have him take her to all these appointments to go for the dog walk. Now here's my dad, starting to get reflexes are getting dim, they're getting dull. He shouldn't really be driving, and he voluntarily gave up his license, but he's got a cell phone. It's a flip phone, and it's bad enough. He has a hard time focusing. Then he got this phone. He's trying to read the thing as he's driving or dial it. The fuck. And my niece, I said last time I was out with him, I think that last time or time before. I said, listen, yeah, it was before that, a couple years before that. I said, tell a man to start taking a bus. She get a free bus pass, or at least a fare reduction. I said, because you shouldn't be driving anymore, period. And I said, you know what? If you get in a wreck, and you're with her and you get in a wreck doing shit for her, she's fucking, in her 30s, early 30s, mid 30s, I don't know. I said, she'll be laying right down there beside you if you get killed. He goes, oh, no, don't. I said, don't worry about it. Here's the asshole dad I had, and I still wanted to do shit for him. I should have took my. I had 10 months of hell with my sister living with my older sister living with me, with her and a kid. They did nothing. They didn't work. They both got up at like crack of noon, and they'd come out and do it. It reminded me of that cartoon where those dogs or whatever they'd punch in together at a construction. They'd
Oh,
beat the
yeah.
shit. Yeah,
Right.
okay.
And then they
Hey,
punch
bro.
the clock at the end of the day. See you tomorrow.
Yeah.
I forget what their names were.
Yeah, that was that's what that reminded me of. Oh, they just hated each other during the day, but
Right.
when they were done with work, they were cool.
That was one of the best cartoons. That and that rooster. What was his name? Foghorn
Oh,
Leghorn.
fuck. Yeah. I said, son.
I'd love it. That big ass bulldog, right? Always chained up to his doghouse, and he'd walk right up to where the chain ends, right? And that dog's going, "Arr, arr, arr, arr." He'd go, shut up, and smack the dog right in the face. And then the dog couldn't get back at him because he was chained up.
Man. Hey, I don't know if I ever told you this story though. Yeah, I might have, but this is hilarious. We had one of our coworkers, Dennis Brewer. He got an album signed by what's his name? I know the guy. I just can't.
What?
He's an American
Big hair
icon.
band guy, a rock guy?
No, R&B.
R&B.
Yeah, back in the day, man. Had that straight hair.
Straight hair, R&B.
I better remember. I can't remember. Oh my God. Oh, anyway, he had this album signed by the guy. He said, "Hey, white boy," he goes, "come here." And he signed it, and he could never find it again. He retired early at 57. He died like 3 or 4 years later from lung cancer. What was that guy's name? Not Little Richard. James Brown.
James Brown. Really?
Yeah, James Brown. He had an album back when he was a teenager. He's older than us, or he was. But he had a nice Tempest too, man. A 63 or 4. Sold it to a guy, and the guy made a clone GTO.
Man, my favorite, my brother had my oldest, well, my half brother, who was a Vietnam vet, he had a 64 GTO. Man, that I'd still love to have one of those.
You remember when you were a kid, when you were like, you were about 4 years, 5 years away from getting one of those bad boys. You know, they had road runners, all of that. Remember all those cars you used to around where I lived before? You saw everything every day. Mach ones. You know, there were two Daytona Chargers on the south side of Milwaukee. You know, one with a orange with the NASCAR with that big what do you call it on the back?
Oh yeah,
Spoiler,
Plymouth
but
Roadrunners. Roadrunners.
yeah, but they outlawed that freaking motor because them guys were kicking ass. They were winning everything with NASCAR. Had that cone front end. You know.
Yeah, it was.
But I thought we had a neighbor named your guy's name was Shorty. He had a 70 Gran Torino. He had a red one or a burgundy one with gold stripes, and he wrecked that. He totaled it. He got another one that was green with the same type of stripe. Then everything back then, everything, man. Everywhere you look, Camaros, everybody, Fords, you know, Dodge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All the good cars.
Yeah, fuck! I can't wait to get one of those. I can't wait to, you know, a year before I got my license, price of gas was like 20-some cents a gallon, maybe.
Yeah, my first car I bought with my own working money. Well, my dad bought it, and I paid him back $125. A '66 Olds Cutlass.
Yeah, mine was 400. I paid for it. I think I borrowed 100 off my mom for a week. You know, I paid her back next week.
Well, mine was 100. It was a. We went to the Chevy dealer, and on their used car lot, way back in the corner, you know, that's where they keep their junk stuff, right? I saw this, and we found out it was 150. He went to start it; it was dead. My dad said it's going to need a battery. I'll give you 125. The guy was just happy to get it off his lot, you know.
Yeah.
So I worked for my dad as a laborer. He was a cement finisher, so I was getting 2 something an hour. So I think it was 66 hours or something I had to work to pay him back.
Who's?
So yeah,
My
2
dad had
something an
a
hour was minimum wage back then. So
my dad had a gee, how old was I? He had a '68 Skylark with the skirts, and it had the buckets with the horseshoe shifter, whatever they called it. That was one of the first cars when they started auto climate control, whatever, and a tilt steering wheel. He took it to I don't know if you guys had these paint places, but they're called Earl Scheib.
no, I heard of it.
Okay, but they were like $90. He paint the whole car.
They're
And,
like the Mako paint jobs, right?
Yeah, but if you needed any metal work, then of course it cost you extra. So he, you know, and if you didn't before that, they would spray paint they would overspray on the tires, man. If you didn't, so my dad had it done for $90. The skirts kept rusting, but I always wanted one like that. So when I first got my license, I saw that '68 Skylark, and it must have been it was a straight 6 in it. It must have been in a boneyard because it had like a chicken wire with fiberglass for the trunk bed. It was all rusted out, yeah. And when I bought that car, it was only 8 years old. So I don't know what the fuck, you know.
I don't know about you, but back here, cars would rust out. If it didn't rust out within 4 years, it was a miracle, right? I mean, the fenders would start rusting, but I always like the cars from Ohio. We used to say, "Man, how come your cars don't rust like ours?" Well, I guess for a long time, Ohio didn't use salt or something on the road, so
sand.
But yeah, the cars here, and you never saw a car that had 100,000 miles on it. That's why they didn't even have that digit over on the odometer. Because
my dad,
if a car had 50,000, the guy would say, "I would never buy that. It's got 50,000 miles on it," you know.
My dad, he had a he got screwed over on this guy at work and he ended up working by us. Guy named Butch. His father had a used car lot, you know. So my dad, we chose drove the '68 Cutlass. You know, I go, wow, it's a fucking nice car, you know. My dad goes there to he put money down to hold it, and he came there to pick it up, and one of the other brothers sold it.
Uh-huh.
So, you know, I'm telling this guy, Butch, at the time, Butch was like 42. I don't know what I was, back in the 90s, whatever, I was in 30 maybe, I don't remember, 34. But anyway, I was telling him, I go, yeah, my dad bought a car at this place over here, he got fucked over. And that was him, his dad. He goes,
He's the
yeah,
one that bought it.
he said, yeah, but I didn't know it was him at the time. He goes, yeah, but he says to me, yeah, but we made it right, you know. And I, oh shit, you're the guys that sold it to him. I said, I remember seeing these guys, but you know, I was young, so I didn't. It was dark. It was nighttime. So they sold him a '72 Buick LeSabre. That was a nice one. And then something happened with that bad boy. You know, you got a hole in the oil pan or something. I put 8 quarts of oil in that car in one day.
I remember
And,
I was dating my ex-wife. Well, this is how long ago. She had just turned 16. She got her license, right? But her mom and dad, they had 2 cars, but her dad had her driving this big ass Pontiac Bonneville, you know?
oh yeah.
I mean, it was a land yacht. But that's what my ex-wife, you know, I guess at that time her mother and father were split, so she was living in the house with her mom, right? I guess my ex-father-in-law had a, you know, apartment or something of his own, you know, because I guess he wanted other women or something. I don't know, but so she was driving this big baby blue Pontiac Bonneville. That thing was freaking huge. But if you can drive that thing, I guess you can drive anything. But
hey,
it was automatic, of course.
At 73, my dad had. That's when I started. I didn't have a car, and mine took a shit. And I used to get a burgundy one, and every Saturday, man, I'd wax it up. That thing looked like glass, you know. And sometimes he'd let me use it, sometimes he wouldn't. I'm like, fuck, I washed. And everybody at work would compliment him on the car. You remember
what kind of car was it?
A '73 LeSabre with that 5-mile-an-hour bumper. That bumper, I hit
that 64 GTO that my brother had. It was that, what do you call it? Not purple. What did you just say his color was? Maroon?
Burgundy.
Burgundy, yeah. It was like a wine color, right?
Right.
Yeah. That's what my brother's 64 GTO was. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Beautiful. Silver metal plate, maybe with silver in there.
So you'd wax it up and shit?
I'd wax it up, man, and I'd be, you know, when you're young and you got that car with power, you know, it's like you feel all this fucking freedom, you know, and power, ripping around the whole fucking city the whole night. You know, you put a couple 100 miles on it, you know. Yeah. I used to, you remember those little islands you used to put? I don't know if they had them by you. They had them little islands with those 4-faced caution lights mounted to them at the intersections. Okay. Well, anyway, they had these signs. You know, they took those out. They had these signs that were yellow and black slashes. You know, meaning that there was an island there. You know.
Yeah.
And you had to clear it. The idea was you had to clear it wide enough to turn without turning into the oncoming lane.
Right.
So my dad, I was going down there. It was 2 blocks away from my house, and all of a sudden, I fucking hit the brakes and I slid, and just fucking clipped that sign right out of the ground, man. we were doing shit you wouldn't believe, man. Fucking up cars.
In
Hey,
that
Gary.
73 Buick, you hit it?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, fuck.
I also hit the side of the building where I used to go roller skating because it was ice, and I went to the back to park where I usually didn't go, and I turned the corner and I just slid. It was no fault of my own. I wasn't going fast, but I was like, oh fuck, I didn't know nothing about that bumper, nothing, and I bumped up and I hit the building. I thought, holy shit, and I got out and looked. I parked it. There was nothing wrong with it. I said,
Huh.
what? Then somebody told me about these bumpers. And the only thing it did was knocked a piece of yellow glass off of the turn signal below because it was recessed pretty good from where the bumper was.
Yeah.
And that was only the beginning of the day. I did shit you wouldn't believe with them. I drove cars like I was on a moonshine run or something. I was good, man. I could fucking
That's
outdrive it.
the only time, I mean, I better say this, knock on wood, the only time I've been in a collision and a wreck in a vehicle, I was 16 in my parents' brand new 77 Chevy Monte Carlo. It
Oh
was
boy.
black with red interior. It was a
Yeah.
beautiful car. That's the first car they ever owned that had air conditioning in it.
Yeah, bucket
First
heats.
one. And yeah,
Bucket,
yeah,
yeah,
fronts were
buckets.
buckets. Yeah, it had a center console, red. It was probably red vinyl. I think it was vinyl, but that black. Oh man, it was a sharp looking car. But I was going through town, my small town, at a red light. I had the green light, right? The speed limit. I was only going like 30 miles an hour. This woman runs the red light from my driver's side, right?
Uh-oh.
And if I hadn't stopped as fast as I did, she would have T-boned me. I slammed on the brakes. Of course, power brakes were a big thing back then, right? I
Yeah,
slammed on those brakes and I just tagged her passenger rear quarter panel, above the right rear tire. I
yeah,
just hit that. And those cars, the Monte Carlo had a bumper that went out like a V, right?
yeah.
So it sounded horrible. And I got out, and this woman, of course, she stopped. She was bullshitting to her girlfriend, right? She was an older woman, right? She went right through this red light, and I said, "Lady," I said, "you realize you just ran that red light?" She's like, "No, I didn't." And this guy comes up behind me. He said, "Woman," he said, "you sure as hell did because I almost ran into his ass." He said, "I can't believe he stopped as fast as he did, and I almost hit him in the ass end." He said, "Yeah,
Yeah.
you did run that red light." So, of course, the cops came, and he told me, he said, it's $100 damage, unreportable accident. Go ahead, on your way. And I was lucky. I looked,
Hey,
I thought I fucked up my parents' brand new Monte Carlo. I looked at the very point of that bumper was a vertical scratch, right?
yeah,
That bumper did all that damage to her rear quarter panel. It was her rear
yeah.
quarter panel was fucking crushed in, and all I
And
had
that's
was this little scratch. I mean, I was afraid to get out and look at that car because I'm thinking,
hey,
oh, this is my parents' new car. Because you could hear the crunch, right?
yeah.
So I get out and look. I'm looking like, where the hell did I hit? And I had
Were
that
your parents with you?
no, I was like by myself. I don't even think I had a girlfriend with me or anything. I was by myself. And
Oh,
so the cop said, "Nah, it's $100." But her rear quarter panel was all fucked up. At least I had the guy vouching for me. The guy behind me, and he
yeah.
pulled me aside. He said, "Young man," he said, "I don't know how you stopped that fast because I almost crawled up your ass end." But he
I got
validated
hit.
my story that she ran a red light. So I got
I got
home
hit.
and I go in. I guess with my mom. I don't think my dad was home. I said, "Mom, I wrecked the car." And she said, "What?" She said, "Oh, you okay?" And I said, "Yeah." She said, "Where's it at?" I said, "In the driveway." So she walked out. She's looking around. She's like, "Where'd you wreck the car?" you know. And I showed her. She said, "Oh, that's just a scratch." So I
Yeah.
explained to her what happened, but yeah, that was the only time in my life I've had a collision. I better not speak too soon. But I've had a bunch of idiot drivers almost kill me, but my reaction, it saved the day. But
I got hit. I got hit a number of times, and I did one. I had a 71 Cutlass. This was in what year was this? What year did I have that? Like 80, 82. The 71, it was nice. It was nice. And I went through an intersection, 13th and Layton, and the lady was coming down a hill, and it was kind of icy road, and I had the green light, So when I'm going through the intersection, I look to my left. Here she is, man, and fucking she hit. Even though I saw her coming for a few seconds, I tried to lean toward the middle of the car so I wouldn't hit my head on the glass,
right,
and I
right.
I still did.
Oh yeah.
And my dad
You
kept
can't
saying,
stop that force, man.
"No, you can't." And my dad kept going. Well, you better call her up about her insurance, this and that. The poor girl wouldn't pick up the phone anymore because I didn't realize once you have the thing done, that the insurance companies take it. I don't. What he had me doing was fucking stupid. So when the insurance guy Chester comes over, and he goes, I had one fender, I had a patch where, when I was all stoned, I back out of his garage when I was in the Army, this standard station. I knew the guys in the place, and they did some work on the car, and I creased it the front. When you're high, a lot of shit don't bother you, and when I got home, this guy down the street had, they had a big time operation on their garage. I got this drill, so I drilled some holes there so the body filler had something to take. And I was sanding it down with this regular drill with this, with this sandpaper pad on the other side. These guys came out and they looked down it, they're laughing a little, but it looked a lot better than it did when it was dented, And I left it like that. I got hit another time with a 76 Firebird I had, and I was going to take a turn to go on this on ramp, and this fucking dude kept, bam, busted. I didn't see it coming, and this guy had his license suspended and all this other shit, and he couldn't get it back until we got the money for the repair. My dad's the one going, that guy's got a. My dad took a lot of joy in the fact that he created some misery for somebody else. That's just the way he was. He would have blamed me, and he went hunting, and he had this shit Chevy van, and he had this love seat, like wedged in the back because it was a panel van. So he went hunting, and I went to hunting with my friend. We went to a public hunting ground, only it was raining, so nothing was happening. We just drank in the van and, slept and woke up. And on the way home, the muffler fell off. It's pretty good clearance underneath that van. The clamps weren't put down enough. Some people are paranoid. If they clamp too hard, they'll crush it, which they will, and they'll fuck up that. You'll get that back pressure. And my dad, well, you got to pay for it. I said, I ain't do nothing. The fucking thing fell off. It would have fell off of you too. That's how he was, though, man. But buddy, with that reddish, with that burgundy Buick, I came out of this. Again, I drove these things like it was like those cars they used to drive on the short,
stole it.
The short track had those dirt races, where these guys would be going sideways all around the track.
Now they do drifting, right?
Yeah, now it's called drifting, but then it was, they never hardly
when it
went
was snow. It was just having fun.
No,
right?
When they did it. A lot of them were in the upper UP. They had a lot of racetracks. They had one left by us. It was in a adjoining town, and that land got bought out. I don't know by who, but they had sprint cars. You know, they're the ones that would go around that fucker sideways the whole way. You know, so I come out of this driveway, and I gun it. And I slam up against the median. You know, they had a median. The curb is what, a couple inches high, probably 4 inches or so. And man, oh man, I must have fucked something up. And I'm driving. I go, I don't feel nothing, you know. So I didn't say nothing about it. I didn't try to make up no lie. My dad gets up. My dad gets up in the morning. Me and him went somewhere, and some guy's beeping the horn, and he's pointing. My dad goes, "What?" Goes, "Your tire, like fucking wobbly." It looked like the tires wobbled in that National Lampoon's Vacation. You know, when it comes out of that fucker's all wobbling. So we go to this. It was there were two brothers in town, Ray Tan and Bob, Jim Tan or something. And I need a new rim of $15. That was back in '77. That was a lot of money.
Yeah.
The guy said the price, my dad goes, I don't care, he's paying. So, you know, I had to buy one there, bust, you know, I did a lot of shit to his cars, man. What do you have, a 69? Hey Gary, oh you watching? We knew you were there, but he had a 69 Impala. And he went, I don't know why he got a ride to work, I forget. He left the car home. I said, well, I'm not, you know, I'll probably skip school today. I'll just take the car to lunch and come home. So I'm driving there because prior to that, for weeks prior to that, when I was driving, I'd go fast and jam on the brakes just because. And I must have weakened the ball joint. So, you know, I'm going to school. All of a sudden, clunk. Because when you're going real slow, they don't usually brake when you're going quick. And I was going slow. I said, oh, fuck. You know, I brand new tires he had on it. So I drove it home. I drove it 7 blocks.
And you left it like that.
It was squealing. And I figured the tire's going to have a mark and be my giveaway. You know, it's going to. So I said, oh, I know what I'll do. Because I was creative with the bullshit because he fucking whipped me for lesser than that.
Uh-huh.
So I jacked up the fucking car, man. And I lowered it real easy, right on top of the ball joint, the split in the ball joint. So the car would, you know, it sat on there. Right, nothing happened. He gets in the car, he fucking starts and turns the wheel, boom. He goes, that shit just doesn't happen. I go, oh, well, you know, I don't know nothing about that shit. My mom knew I was sealing his keys, you know, to go out for a ride Saturday night or you know, some shit like that. So I take his car out, but where we lived, they had a lot of the lots had 2 houses per lot, you know, these old Polish flats in the back or whatever. The big house in the front, like the coach house, I think they called it. So we had to, you know, alternate sides of the street parking. We had to pay for parking. I don't know about your city, but we did. So if you weren't in by a certain time of the night, you didn't get a spot. So I know what I'll do. You know, I fucking stole some construction signs with the blinking ones with the orange light. You know, so I put 2 of them fuckers up there. I did it a couple times like that. Only the last time I did it, I forgot to take the fucking barricade out. And my dad opened the trunk for some reason. There's this fucking light blinking. What the hell? I said, I don't know. I mean, you know, I found it and I put it in there and I just forgot about it. You know, you get a ticket or some jail or some bullshit. I'm like, you know. I learned how to lie with him because the truth never did nothing. I put a dent in his left fender. when I was making this U-turn of these other friends, I said, "Yeah, man, it's back that way." I was up in front. I was on the side of the street, the curbside, and my friend's friend was out in the street because there was a couple of us. So I okay, man, just follow. I think they're gonna follow me. I make a U-turn, I gun it, and the guy hits my fender. Put a crease in it. I thought, no fucking problem. I thought to dude, he was all cool about it. Nothing happened to him. So no problem, man. I'll fucking bullshit the old man or something. So I get home and I park it, and I'm sleeping. And he wakes me up. He goes, wake up. Somebody hit our car. What am I saying? Our car. It's my car. He goes, yeah, somebody had orange paint. There's a car up the street with orange paint. He had scrapes on his bumper, but I couldn't prove it. I thought, okay. I didn't tell him the truth. You kidding me? Fucking drink. Doing a lot of stupid shit. But the dumbest thing I did with that car. But I claim ignorance on this one. When we had snowstorms like regular, like every other month, and my car, my Skylark kept cutting out because the snow was so high, packed on the streets. The plows were plowing it. We couldn't keep up. So I parked my car. I go, I'll take it. I get in there, and this is the dumbest fucking thing in the world. That's why I didn't believe it. There's a sign on the steering wheel. It says, "Do not start car, blanket on motor." I thought, who the fuck puts a blanket on a cast iron? Fucking, it's freezing. Cast iron, you ain't helping. I'm thinking. So I go and start it anyway. Snapped all three of them belts off. He goes, we go to a gas station he still had service stations then, And the guy cost $21 for 3 belts. And my dad goes, he's paying, I don't care. He goes, I put a note on there and he still started it. Of course, I wasn't going up and up the fastback that much and go, who the fuck puts a blanket on the motor? I never doubted. What is that, man? Where did you learn that from? Did you? I don't. Did you just make it up? You thought it'd be a good idea?
Old Italian trick.
Yeah. Put one of them comforters on there. That'll do the trick.
I did one time. It wasn't a collision with someone else, but I was driving. It was like 20 years ago.
Gary had a Cadillac.
My wife was at home. The kids were little or babies. I don't know. We had 1 or 2, but I had gone to the Legion, and sat around with a few buddies and had a few beers.
Coming, Gary.
So I was coming. For some reason, I was going. There's this little one lane. They had a train track over above it, right? A little one. It was only like 3 car lanes long, but it was 1 lane. So you gave way. If a car was coming the other way, they had to right away. We had the stop sign. So I looked, no one was coming. So I started my way through, and then I saw headlights coming. So I said, okay, I'll back up, let the guy through. I backed up. It's a cement, tunnel kind of thing, and I backed up, and there was a guardrail because it did a 90-degree coming into this tunnel, and I scraped my car. It was my car, so. But backing up, I'm drunk, and I heard this, big old crash. And I said, "Oh shit!" So I got out of the guy's way. He came out of the tunnel, so I went through. When I got home, I looked. Sure enough, I had a scrape on my right rear quarter panel. But it was my own car, and I had a few beers. And it was pouring ass rain. That's why I didn't really see the guardrail back there when I was backing up. But
yeah.
And I said, "Oh well," I chalked it up to experience. It was my own dumb fault. I didn't really worry about fixing it. So I just drove it like that the rest of the time I owned it. It was a little Hyundai Elantra, so it was a cheap car.
These dudes, these guys I know had their old man Delta 88 And on this bridge called Lincoln Bridge, it went from Lake Michigan over, at a cross over. Lincoln Avenue was a street, and down. And we were going too fast. We were all having a good time, and we were going too fast. I was in the back seat, and my friend's brother was driving, and he lost it. He lost control of it. We spun around right in the opening of these, right where it opened, because there was a side street entrance to get on that bridge, and he spun right in between all of that, man. So we were just facing the opposite direction when we could have been, if we would have hit that curve, it was like a 4 or 5 inch curve all the way median, all the way along the bridge. We would have flipped,
You would have flipped over, yeah.
Oh man, we would. Hey, this guy, Mr. Noonwalker. Oh, Norwegian, huh? It's either Christian or Geir. Yeah, I want to learn how to speak Norwegian because it's one of the easiest languages to learn. And since my mother's, since I got that Scandinavian side of me, maybe it's kind of like, like the Dutch, the Swedes make fun of the Dutch, and the Danish, they, it's like they're, to every word they say, but it's easier to learn than Italian because, yeah, I'm taking the survey, yeah. So it's easier than Italian. Italian's like, I don't know what other language where
It's like Spanish. It's a romantic language, like Spanish.
No. That ain't the point I was making. The point I was making is if you used a word in a different context, it had a different meaning. If you use the word to go dating or you got laid, you could word it so it sounded respectable, or you could word it so it sounded dirty. But a lot of it was a fluctuation in your voice. Yeah, I know I know it derived from that, but I wouldn't be around here talking to anybody I know that would give me good practice and when to use it, when not to. Taking a survey. Oh man, we're all Norwegians here, huh? Yeah. You're not Norwegian, are you, people? A little bit.
Norwegian? Nah, not that I know of.
Yeah, okay.
Unless 5 generations ago or someone took a boat up there. I don't know.
Harmonica, yeah, when you know how to play it. But I know this guy that lives there from there, and he plays. He tries real hard, but he sounds so bad. It just sounds like some redneck, tooting on a jug, slapping your knee and all that shit like that.
My dad could play the harmonica. He could play quite a few instruments.
See,
I never learned.
Christian plays the harmonica.
Yeah, I know.
That's why I said that, because
I saw his video from the club in Thailand. He did a hell of a job.
Oh yeah. I don't think I mentioned that. Hey Gary. I don't think I mentioned that about Christian, because I was like, man, that fucking, the guitar player could look to me to make sure he was changing chords or something, but he was going crazy, man. It was sounding pretty good.
Is he back in Norway, or is he still in Thailand?
No, he's back in Norway.
Oh, he is.
How you doing, Gary? You enjoying your life there? Still in Tacloban?
Yeah, I am. I'm not traveling out of this area. Actually, I have no transportation.
Didn't you had a pretty good earthquake there, right? Was it last week or a couple weeks ago?
Oh,
He thought it
we've
was
had
his
a
girl.
couple of them, small ones,
Yeah.
but they have shaken a little bit.
I saw one. I thought it was a 5.
Yeah, I think actually we felt that one. I think it was in Southern Leyte or something, maybe.
The first time I felt one, it wasn't a tremor; it was actual shake, and it when I was at the mother-in-law's, the downstairs portion is concrete, upstairs is wood, so she didn't feel nothing down there. But upstairs, it shook to the point where it's either going to get real bad or it's going to stop. You know what I mean? And I'm
Yeah.
laying in bed. I'm laying in bed, and I feel this shaking. I thought it was my wife goofing around. I said, quit shaking on that bed. And I looked to my left, and she was sitting in the doorway. She was nowhere near me.
Oh,
Oh,
man. Well, you know, after that, I found this site where it says like you know, the Philippines has like this is like 3.0 and above, you know, but usually about 3.0 and you don't feel them. It has like maybe 8 or 9 in 24 hours. You know, they have a lot of earthquakes here.
oh yeah. On the Ring of Fire, man.
So
We haven't had a good. We had a good one a while. It's been a long time since we had a pretty good one. Last year was shitload or a lot of them.
well, when we felt it, my girlfriend ran outside, and I said, I didn't even know what it was, and I'm wondering why is she running outside? She leaving me,
Yeah.
me here, you know? She just ran.
Fuck it. She said, "Leave. See you
Now,
later."
do you sleep on the second floor? Right, you got a 2-story apartment, right, Gary?
Yeah, I sleep on the second floor. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's 2-story with a little balcony.
I told Christian about this song to. It's a pretty good one from the '70s. It was a one-hit wonder, I think. I forgot the name of the band. Christian would know. I gave it to him. I remember that, from it being like the cool song for people that were about 5 years older than me. The Wet Willie, it was called. Wet Willie was I think Wet Willie was the band.
Yeah.
What was the name of that tune?
Keep on smiling.
Yeah, Keep on Smiling. There you go.
Yep.
I always,
they were like a one-hit wonder.
yeah, I always thought that was. It sounded like it could have came from Steely Dan,
Yeah.
because Steely Dan, when they were playing them tunes, I mean, they never got old. Yeah, out of all the music and all the generations, man, the music we listen to. I mean, I listen to stuff from way before me. Not, I wouldn't go out and buy the record, but occasionally I hear a tune that you like.
Hey,
But
did
the
either
music,
of you guys you ever watch that YouTuber in the Philippines called a Brit expat in the Philippines?
no,
He changed. He's got a channel called a Grumpy Brit in the Philippines.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he just got kicked out by his Philippine partner after buying the house, and I think he said he's got about 80,000 US in the house and property, and
that sounds
now
like
she's out. He's kicked out now, and he's
Hmm.
moved on with another partner who I say partner, so you get the idea of what sex it is.
Yeah.
He's out now, and he changed his channel code to call it Grumpy Brit in the Philippines.
you ain't getting
I
no
don't
pie hole no more.
Did you have you watched that old dog New Tricks? He got scammed by a
Yeah,
construction.
I saw it.
Well,
I
there's
saw
a
that.
difference. He got scammed. He's still with his wife, right? But this
Yeah.
guy, Brit, I guess he spent time in Australia because he has an Australian passport or something. But yeah, he's out of his money. Whatever he had invested in the home and the relationship he had, he's out cold. So
That guy
So
found a
she-
different.
she
We
was-
call that. We
He
call
just
that.
wanted, she just wanted to take him then for what he had,
We call that stick. We call that stick pussy.
I'm about to reduce our budget here. We're now running on 35,000 pesos a month,
Oh,
but I'm about to reduce it to 25,000.
wow.
which is pretty slim, but we're doing great, you know.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Other than that, you don't spend it, right?
As long as
No,
if your
well,
rent's cheap, you know, and you eat at home most of the time, you know, you can do it.
well,
All
actually,
of
we order food a lot from McDonald's. There's another place I really like. It's called um, Rib Shack,
Yeah,
and
yeah, me too. They got an SM Mall here.
oh, you got one? They're really
Yeah,
good. I
yeah.
like the spicy Korean meal there. Like you,
They got they got a Hungarian sausage. Pretty
So
good.
what can you get away with there? How much can you spend for the two of you to eat from there? And you get it delivered, right?
yeah, we did. We just had it tonight, and we both got the spicy Korean pork with rice. We got rice this time. Sometimes we have rice. We did have rice, but not as much cooked. And it cost 505 pesos for two of us.
Delivered with the tip to the driver or whatever.
What'd you have for dessert?
Well, we just had cookies here. You know, we have ice cream because we don't have any grocery store like real close. Now I do take long walks here, but we have two pharmacies. You know, Mercury Drug and Rose Pharmacy, and just got a haircut yesterday. Cost me 99 pesos.
They went up a lot. Ours went up a lot, man. 50 to
Yeah.
it's 50 to 80 now. Went from 50 to
Really?
80 in less than a year.
Well, actually, the peso to a dollar for us, you know, is down like it's like 57 something,
Well,
57
it's
or 55 or something.
less than that, yeah. It's like 56, even the high 55.
I
That's
know.
because of Trump and his tariff shit. See,
I
this
know.
market over here, they get affected by the whole world's affected by shit like that.
Well, Canada's not going to bow down to the U.S. They're going to go to Europe now.
You know what? That Kevin O'Leary guy that was in that show Shark Tank. He said, "I want somebody to ask him about that." He goes, "Good, I'm glad because I get tired of spending all this money to have something shipped to fucking China and then shipped back here, you know, to sell it, and I
Hey,
lose."
the latest I just looked at xe.com for the exchange rate is 57.27 pesos.
Yeah,
What you get?
pretty low.
57.27.
I know it. I know it. You know,
That's
it's
not what that's not what you get, man. You probably get 50, high
Might get
55,
55 there.
yeah, it's not
56.
good for us that have the dollar. You know.
So you know what? I watch what I honestly I don't really watch what I do because I don't do any crazy things when it comes to because you get cheap this and cheap that and something else costs a lot. And when you have to live, you shouldn't be doing this if you have to. Oh, we can't have rice this week. You know, we gotta have this, or we can't have
Gary, is that
meat.
500 peso meal? Is that good for both of you? I mean, it's plenty of food and it tastes really
Yeah,
well.
five.
Good.
It's actually two meals. It's
Right.
two.
All
Yeah,
you can
it's
eat rice, man. If you go there,
And it's real
well,
tasty. And
we don't we just ordered it, and it's you know, it's a little bit less, but then you have to pay for the Grab delivery.
right.
But it was 505, and it's two. You know, one for her,
Right.
one for me, and it has the
rice is
rice
always
and sauce.
packed
And
at lunch.
it's really good. It's my favorite,
Yeah,
but it's just a
it's
little
a good.
high.
Yeah, they got good stuff. If you go in there, Gary, you get your girlfriend will like this. You get endless rice, man. You got a guy. It remind me of of that Baskin Robbins. They have that giant container of ice cream. The guy's got the scoop, but only it's rice, and he goes around. Yeah,
Mm.
people
So
walk
you
around.
are you saying they have endless rice there?
Yeah, here, yeah,
Man.
Well,
yeah.
it's too far.
What
It's too far away for us to travel there. It's
Right.
he goes to
yeah, it's a
Innocent,
little bit. We don't.
Innocent.
We order also from McDonald's and we order from Jollibee, and there's another place we can get grilled chicken, but we don't order there too much.
Does she
But,
ever buy from the canned area on the streets?
No, we don't usually buy any street food.
Oh,
I wouldn't eat that. I ain't eating no street
Or
food.
she cooks it, or you have like rice and tuna fish. You know how much I love tuna fish.
I mean,
And
does she go to the market? Does she go to the market and buy fish or meat?
yeah, she goes to the supermarket. Yeah,
Oh, wet market,
No, I mean the
not
wet
the
market.
supermarket.
it's called Save More.
No, we're talking about a market, or outdoor market kind of.
Yeah,
Oh,
outdoor market.
Oh, no, she
Fresh
doesn't.
stuff.
She doesn't go to the outdoor market. No, she goes to a grocery store.
You know what? You know what? Because I
I
think
went
about
one
it. Like,
time up when my wife was in Metro Manila.
Yeah.
I went over to meet her and spent 10 days with her. And I kept hearing about, she'd tell me, oh, yeah, we can get fish from the market. And I said, well, okay, I want to go to the market. She said, no, you don't want to go to the market. It's muddy. It smells. And I said, look, I don't have a sense of smell, so that doesn't bother me. I said, I want to go see how it's done. So I went, she had a male cousin, and him and I went at like 4:30 in the morning, because that's where all the fresh stuff comes off the boat, and all that.
busy.
And I went with him, but I told him, I said, look, you go pick out the best stuff, because I know I'll get the skin tax, right? If I'm the guy up there pointing it out and asking. I said, you go pick out all the good stuff. When it comes time to pay, I'll roll up and give you the pesos, and so we both had like bags full, on both hands walking back with fish, crab, all the good stuff. I just wanted to buy for everybody. Huh?
How much did you spend?
I don't know. I might have spent $20, $40, but I mean, we were staying at those people's house, so I wanted to buy food. They were cooking for us, cleaning for us, letting us sleep there. So I wanted to buy the food for the meals, whatever they wanted. So I didn't care how much it was. I was fresh over there from the U.S. Never been there, and I had all kind of. I didn't have a lot of money. I only took like $1,200 with me for a week or 10 days, but that lasted, more than enough.
Yeah, right.
When I first got there, first night I got there, my wife, of course, met me at the airport, and I stayed at a hotel. But then she said the next morning, she said, "Well, it was like 1,000 pesos, right, for that hotel." She said, "Why don't, instead of wasting your money, why don't you just come stay at my apartment?" Well, she was sharing an apartment with like 3 other cousins, but they cleared out while I was there, so that just me and her could be there by herself. So
Did
yeah,
they
I
have
just stayed.
Did they have a modern shower and everything?
No. This apartment was like 8 feet by, I'd say, 20 feet. And the bathroom was in the corner. They had plywood put up to cover, for privacy for the toilet, the bucket flush toilet. And any washing yourself was just there was a faucet. You bucket wash, what do they call it, tuba or something like that.
That's what we have here.
Yeah. So, and I, she was embarrassed that she said, "Oh, there's no shower." I said, "I don't care. I was in the military. I can do a bucket bath. Just having water's a luxury sometimes.
I do that all the time now.
Right. I don't mind a bucket bath.
Well,
it's so damn hot there. I just want to throw some water on me.
Yeah. Actually, I think my girlfriend, she might think, she probably doesn't know that this is not the normal for me. She probably thinks this is the normal for everyone.
Well, I'm sure she sees on TV, how other people live.
Oh, maybe so, yeah. I'm going to be taking her to the movies. She's never been to the movies, and I'm going to take her to the movie at Robinson Mall when it's a good movie out there.
Good.
Never been to the movies. So.
Yeah,
hey,
I don't think.
My
wife had never been on a plane. I don't think, until I bought her a ticket.
Oh wow! This end of this month, I heard that Manila is going to be very hot. It's going to be like from 41 to 52 Celsius, which is like 109 to 123 Fahrenheit at the end of this month, end of March.
Wow.
They
Pretty
they
good.
have been having heat waves up there. Kids are off school and things, you know.
Well, but not in Tacloban.
No, you know, I don't know if you know Dennis Adams, but he sent me a message. He said, I thought Tacloban had like a wet season, a dry season, like everywhere else, you know. But I looked it up. He sent me the link and everything. This has Tacloban has, and my girlfriend said it's pronounced Tacloban.
Yeah, Tacloban. Yeah.
Yeah. This article has said this area has like a tropical rainforest type weather. It
Really?
has rain. It has rain every month, but not as much some months. Like December is real bad, heavy, a lot of rain. But it practically rains every single day, but
Yeah.
not for very long. And the weather can change very quickly. Might be all of a sudden a rain cloud comes in, but doesn't last long. But it's comes
Do
down
you get
hard.
out? Do you get out every day? Do you walk every day?
No, I don't get out every day. I should. I am next week. I'm going to walk to immigration, which is like a 3 mile walk.
Uh-huh.
It's not all sidewalk too. I have to walk, you know,
How
on the
about your wife
street.
or your girlfriend? Does she go visit family like every day or?
No, she never visits family.
Oh, really?
Her family's like it's like 2 hours by shuttle from here, a bus or
Oh,
something.
wow. 2 hours. Okay.
Mm.
I thought they were like just on the outskirts. You were on the outer edge, right, of the city. I thought they were kind of
Yeah, well,
close.
she lives in eastern Samar, which is across the bridge
Yeah.
into in Samar. I'm in Leyte, you know?
Right. Right.
But I have to get out to the post office. So I have to check the post office, see about how to get mail, and also DHL.
I get mine bright to me. They bring mine out special. I'm the only
Right
guy
to your
around.
house?
Yeah. They bought
They
me my Social Security mail, which you should really go there once a month because, you know, this lady had about 4 different pieces of mail for me.
Wow.
Because they take that letter every year with that proof of life thing. I sent it in. They sent me something like beginning of January when I got it. I filled it out. The second one, I sent it in. I called up. I said they stopped payment. You know, they stopped paying me.
Oh,
So I
wow.
called them up, and the lady said, I said it was the 16th. I sent it out on 16th of January. She said, well, if it ain't there by the third week of February, call us. And I got it in the second week of February. So all this talk, there's this YouTube channel I told Kiko about. The guy used to be a boss of one of the SSA offices. And he's talking about all these job cuts that are really going to affect, especially small towns, and your ability to get an issue done with the lack of people. But I got to tell you, I haven't had a bad experience yet, and every experience I've had has been a good one. Because you gotta. What I did was I put a lot of load on my phone because you got to call if you have business to take care of. You got to call America. And it's probably Chicago or LA, but you call Manila for information on what to do, but actually taking care of it, you got to call back to the States.
I don't do that because I'm only a tourist here, and I have an address in America.
Yeah, right. I did too, but I lived here and I didn't want they even sent me my 1099 here. I'm like, I don't want nothing getting effed up, man. You know, all of a sudden,
Oh
even
yeah.
over.
Well, I don't want anything messed up either. I depend on Social Security, but
Well, my mistake was I told Michael. Michael told me stories about getting it late and all that stuff.
oh yeah,
And
I know it.
I thought I can send it through LBC, so they'll deliver it because I think the first time I did it, honestly, I feel like it didn't make it out of the country. That was my feeling on that.
So do you send it LBC now?
I will now, yeah. LBC delivers too, so from here to wherever in the States. So.
I'm sure
Hey,
that
have any-
I'll eventually have to do that, but for right now, I don't.
Hey Gary, if you get married, say you get married, and if you pass away before your girl, and she has to do a business, call America, whatever, that's gonna get all fucked up because you don't have to do that report of life. I forget what the numbered form it is. Hey Christian,
Hey, speaking
But,
of report of life, has anybody heard from Michael? Is he still all right?
I have not.
Michael, who?
Michael McFarland.
Oh,
Michael, fucking Gary, man.
Have you ever heard from him?
yeah, I talked to Michael. He's okay.
I just didn't know. I don't even see his YouTube. He must not be doing YouTube anymore.
Well,
I
I don't know.
if he is or not. I'm not sure. He doesn't seem to be on YouTube. Well, I miss all YouTube's. I'm lucky to be able to. You're Tony. You're YouTube. Have you been here? Were you here last week, Tony, live?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just me and him.
Christian says hello.
Hi, Christian. Yeah, Christian shows up
Hi,
once in a
Christian.
while when he can't.
Monk too.
Yeah, I'm looking. Michael hasn't had a live for a long time.
If I don't say nothing, if the King of Canada here, he'll be getting mad.
Which one?
Yeah, now that I've been here, I usually don't. At home when I was in the States, it was part of my day, to get going. But every day I was visiting kinds of channels and stuff. But now that I'm here and I got this house thing going on, I got extra. What do you call it all the time?
Hey, Chris, how you doing? You still in England? Make your way over to the Philippines eventually. How's that going?
2 versions. He sent me a song, I forget what it was called. It was some country western song. I went against my better judgment and I listened to it.
What about the one about the fast lane?
Yeah. That's living in the fast lane. He put down living on the fast lane. The term is.
Hey, maybe that'll get popular with truckers. Bus drivers,
That could be.
Tony.
You never know. Ding dong, shamalama, ding dong. Well, I keep making additions to the house here. My parking area was. This is all after the original build. Every time we get done with something, I look and I go, man, I think I'll. Like I didn't have a big kitchen. Well, I could have laid one out. I wasn't sure how much money I'd have. So I go, man, we got to put the stove and refrigerator in a different room. So I made an addition. Plus, I made a storage thing. Now my builder don't know it yet because I paid like $10.60 a day for him. You don't know it yet, but I'm gonna cut that storage unit in half and give myself an office there. I'm gonna give myself an office there, and the room that I'm in now, I'll turn this into a game room for my boy, so he's not out there on my big TV all the time.
So let me explain the difference between in and on. If I'm living in, I'm building a house, then I can live in. If I'm driving a car 200 miles an hour, I'm not living in. I'm on
That-
the
that's-
road driving, not in the road.
No. That's not the same. It's not the same. Living in the fast lane just means you're doing all these crazy things that out of normalcy. Like, you're instead of drinking 5
Yeah,
beers,
you're a major risk taker. Put it that way.
yeah, I mean, exactly, yeah.
That sounds strange in my head. Living in.
Yeah. It's an English thing, Christian. It's
You need to
just
learn
like
different.
yeah.
Well, one thing about in and on, they say like I'm on a bus or I'm on an airplane. On would be where you can stand up and walk around, or if I'm in a car
Yeah.
because you can't get up and walk
What
around.
about
a car.
is the bus on time? Does that make sense literally? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, schedule, timing.
Just a figure of speech.
No, it's not. They actually do have a schedule, man, that you gotta make. So it makes perfect sense to say, is the bus on time? I drove a transit bus.
You would know, yeah. About that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, Monk, but for me in my brain, that sounds just very strange.
Oh, you'll get used to it.
I'm living in the house. I'm not living on the house.
No, living, it's a term. It's a term. It's a statement, a term. Living in the fast lane. It's not it's different than on. It's like Kiko said, it's a little farm boy. All of a sudden, he's got some cash and he's living in the fast lane, doing this, that, the other thing, all one day, every day.
How about if you're saying I'm living on a houseboat?
Yep.
Yep.
But you
you
should
go.
be living in a houseboat on the water, right? But who knows?
Uh-oh, what did you go and start here now, man?
I know, word about it. See what in and on did.
Well, I'm going to tell you straight. I'm going to tell you straight right now. I was a D student in frickin' English class, so the only reason I got a passing grade is because the old teacher thought I had a cute smile. So,
Well, if I knew that I was going to be a tech writer, I would have paid more attention in English.
But if Monk,
yeah,
if she don't have dementia, what does she have then? If she forgets things all the time?
like a monk got a better take on it.
I'm
Yeah.
expecting that I will have dementia. Your mother didn't have dementia, did she, Kiko?
No, I mean she lived till 5 days before her 100th birthday.
And she was
She was
okay,
still
yeah.
pretty into it. We all forget things. I mean, I do. So
Yeah, right,
she had
right.
that, but
Well,
for someone who's that close to 100, I mean,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
haven't
with it,
I haven't been able to keep track of what day of the week it is. I don't know if that's just because it's retiring or, every day's I could have swore the other day I woke up and I get in the habit of leaving the light on in the bedroom. So my wife takes her forever to get up because they all have that sugar crash from eating rice late before bed. So I flip it on. Well, the other day I did, and then I come in here. I go in there and nudge her a couple of times. But this particular 3 days ago, I did it, and I'm standing in front of the window, and I'm thinking, well, they're going to church today. So they get up when they get up. I could care less what time you get there. They don't either at the church because they take your money anyway. So
Well, that is a retirement thing.
I look at where she's I look at what she's wearing, and I said, boy, she ain't wearing a dress to church today, And then all of a sudden, we were late for school because she got up at 7:30. The kids' school starts at 7:30.
Well, you would know more about the days more than me. I forget the days and everything.
Oh man, I'm just telling you, I forget what day it is. I thought the last 2 weeks, I thought Thursday was a Friday.
Mm.
The only way I really know is because the wife goes to work 4 days a week, and My daughter still goes to school, and my other daughter goes to work. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Do the hokey pokey, huh?
Well,
I can play-
I gotta get going. It's my bedtime.
Okay,
Well,
Gary.
I'm almost to mine.
I'll talk
Did
to you
you
later.
take your
Gary-
pill yet, Tony?
Well, I
Gary
took
is
them.
Gary is so young. He still have a bedtime.
Yeah. Well, he's gonna get a spank. He's gonna get a spanking if he's late.
Yeah. Gotta go to bed now.
Get a little
Okay.
tap
I'll
on
see
the
you
head.
guys.
Nice to see you again, Gary.
Okay,
Yeah,
Yeah,
Gary.
nice to
Take
see
care.
you.
Thanks for
Take it
stopping.
easy.
Yeah. If I'd have known I was gonna have this many guys, I would have bought some beer to enjoy myself.
Yeah, I didn't get the notification you were on. Not last Friday too. I didn't get any notifications. So I
No.
didn't even
Oh,
think it was Friday today. I just sitting here doing stuff.
Yeah, you know how it is. You forget the days. You know, you're younger. You've been on an endless cycle of like a baby that doesn't get its days together for a while. You know, it's up during the night and sleep during the day kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't sleep that much. I sleep normally 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, that's what I was doing when I was working. Even now, I lay down at 8 o'clock.
Wow. So it's almost 4 o'clock in Oslo.
Yeah.
Looking at the world clock. Okay.
Yeah.
4 o'clock in the afternoon. How's your weather, Christian? What's the temperature rate?
Not sure, but it's not that cold. Maybe.
Yeah, it's about 0 here.
Oh no, here is like 10, maybe 11.
Wow.
Monk, you're not coming here yet? What's going on with that?
Well, he said he's hanging out with his mom. She's having her issues. That's why he's still there.
Who?
Chris.
Who?
Monk.
Oh, I must have been in a different conversation when that
No,
happened.
looking to read the comments once in a while. He's talking
Yeah,
about,
well, I am there.
or have
Mr.
someone
fucking
read it to
Green
you.
Jeans. Mr. Green Jeans. And fucking kangaroo court.
Hey, Christian, yeah, he's got a live stream with like 3 people, and he can't keep up with the comments.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to cipher through this idiotic fucking statements that you're making. I just told you, man. Life's a bitch when you fucking wrap your melon too many fucking times.
Remember- Tony, remember back in the day, the joke was that you took the Evelyn Wood speed reading course?
Oh yeah. Well, you know what? I got to tell you the truth here. Before it happened to me, what got me slow, about 10 years or 9 years ago now. But back when I was in the service, I was doing a GED course, and I was on this computer.
Explain to Christian what a GED course is.
Well, it's like a high school to equivalency.
It's called General Education Degree. So
Yeah.
or General Equivalency Degree.
What it is.
If you don't go attend all the way through high school,
Well,
it's a way to take courses back before
Yeah.
it was online.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, we have that here in Norway too. Okay.
you can take it when you're 15, though. But anyway, what was I saying? I got me all fucked up. God damn it. I forgot what the hell I was thinking. I forget.
Still there? Sorry, I didn't hear it, that last bit
I
of
forgot.
conversation.
I forgot what I was saying.
Something about schooling.
Right. Yeah. General education degree. You were talking about when you were going to get your GED. What were you doing at that time?
I can't remember that.
Remember?
Oh, I was in the army, and
Right,
I
you
had
were
on
in the
this
Army.
computer. I was supposed to do the practicing, and they had this thing on there that you could do speed reading. And what they would do is that you'd pick the time that that you saw this paragraph. Actually, more than a paragraph, more like a fucking page. And what it was, how to do it was, you get to the meat of the paper, and you throw out all the uhs and does, and you see that, like the numbers of the encyclopedia, all these big words, and it helps you put the story together or remember it without all the I o And I was at 96%. Thing would just flash right like the blink of an eye, and my teacher said, "Well, you're not supposed to be doing that." I said, "Well, fuck, I'm good at it, man. I'm having fun." But that was back when I was 22 years old or something.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to change the song. Which, to get that same melody again with AI would take me a couple of years. So.
Did you listen to that song I told you? The Wet Willie song?
No.
Smiling?
Wet
Good
Willie.
tune. Wet Willie. Keep on smiling. I told you I had a harmonica. I played a little of that, but I didn't play it. I let you listen to part of the.
That had to be from the early 70s, right?
Yeah, Wet Willie. I was in the middle. Yeah. And that's why I said it reminded me of Steely Dan. I like Steely Dan. That songs was like early 70s, some of them.
I like the album Asia.
Yeah.
That's my favorite Dan album.
I like Never Going Back to My Old School. I don't know if that's the title, but
right.
Yeah. Steely Dan, that dude looked like
1973.
Yeah.
My old school.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like that one. But I just looked
for some reason, and it just happened. I had a Steely Dan playlist running, and that song came up, and I was like, "Damn, I haven't heard that in a long time." Then I saw what year it came out. Wow,
back
that was a good tune.
Radio in the Teens for us, it was they had a oldie station. Now it's called Bon Jovi's oldies. Not Jeremy Mason. I forget what Mason.
Dave Mason.
There were a lot of good David Mason, yeah. A lot of good singer-songwriters back then, Carly Simon and
We Just Disagree. I think that was Dave Mason.
Yeah, Dave Mason. Ain't no good guy, ain't no bad guy. It's just you and me. We both can't disagree or something.
Man, if I'd only listened to that advice back then, we were just kids. Pre-puberty came out.
But you had your little Peter fucking overruling your brain.
Yeah, freaking overloaded testosterone. That was a problem.
You're throwing a load here, a load there.
All the time, years we wasted, and all the tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars chasing women.
Christian, when you going back to the sin bin?
Sometime this year.
You got time this shit. You got time this shit, so you miss winter.
Yeah. Also gathering some money,
I'm telling you, man, not having to deal with the freaking cold anymore is, every time I think about, it rained a lot here from February to now. It's been raining a lot. But I'm thinking I've been sitting in my fucking shorts with no shirt on, wearing flip flops. With the exception of they go to school playing wearing blue jeans and everybody else got other shit on. But
so you're looking like a sexy tourist then.
Yeah. Only I got my hat on, except I don't have my short white socks with my my sandals. I'm gonna wear tube socks with sandals. When you look at that, you think to yourself, what's the advantage of wearing shorts and no socks so you can be cooler, right? Why the fuck would you wear tube socks wearing sandals? You know, you got a belt, man, a white belt and white fucking belt.
Remember, when we were kids, the old men would be wearing shorts with the belt. They'd have their white beater T-shirt on, their black, and their shoes. And
Yeah,
we
Monk,
thought they looked so uncool, you know.
yeah, and Monk, I'm thinking about maybe living nearby where Professor is living and use Thailand as just a holiday place.
Or just a couple of old pimps going to the Howard House.
So,
You ain't got to be
Christian,
suave. You ain't got to be suave and debonair when all it takes is money.
so I guess you'd have to go to Will's house, correct? Where Will and Ronald, is Ronald still living with him, Christian?
No, he's Will has moved to another place, and Ronald is renting his own place now.
Same
Oh,
house or different house?
Different, yeah.
Okay.
in a different.
Nice bringing them home with him, huh?
Yeah, I think it was a good Monk near Clark. It was easy go from Thailand to Clark. Not big immigration stuff. You know, it was relaxing and okay.
Well,
Yes.
Did you get a direct flight to Clark from
From
Bangkok?
yeah, 3
What
hours.
they-
Nice.
what they tried to do was with Clark, United States Air Force got kicked out of it by one boat. Yeah, I mean they just come off of Guam and now the northern part of zone now. But
Tony,
but-
they don't have any direct flights from Clark to Butuan. Only Manila, correct?
yeah, I guess I don't know. I never looked at that. But I was talking with the lady that owns the foot thing I've been going to. She's a doctor, was supposedly her husband said she was. But when I was talking medical shit to her, it's like she didn't know any more than a gas station attendant did, you know. But she said that I said, "What's a good heart hospital?" She said, "Do you have a problem?" I said, "No, I'm just asking." You know. She said that Changhua and Cebu City, Cebu, and then there's Makati. You know.
Yeah, I'm not that old, so I can't live far up in the mountains. You know, I get bored very easily, and you can't work and you can't do anything. So
Fucking
I
go
need
pick-
some.
go skip. You know what you do, man? When I was a kid, I lived with my auntie. You know, my cousins were like having brothers. We go out freaking venturing. You go pick up blueberries, and you know, my uncle made wine out of them. Well, you just you stick
I'm
them downstairs in a jar for a fucking year, and you got some alcohol.
I'm 52, not 15.
Well, what else do 52-year-olds do, man? Watch kitty porn?
No, that's why I like to live near Clark, because and
Oh.
angle is, if I want to go to the city and up have in a bar and stuff like that, it's just a 10 minutes drive.
Yeah, I'm kind of, not that I would, but I kind of went past that. If I was at one where I did, but I don't trust to be in a Filipino bar at night with myself.
Oh, why?
Well, you get rolled, man. Because we need money, and you know, the easiest way to get money is the thing about people in different countries is in the U.S. they might hold a gun up and take your money, but here they'll hold their gun up, shoot you, and take your money.
Well, if I die, I die. Nothing I can do with that.
Nobody wants to do that. I'm just saying.
People want to kill a broke tourist from Norway who have 1,000 pesos in his pocket. Okay,
Well,
what
you
can I
might be
do?
white. You might be a white guy that sounds goofy from America. They won't know where Norway is. You should show them a map. Yeah, I can sit out back here by my. I've been.
Yeah,
I,
but if I want to be scared all the time, I need to lock myself in the house and never go out. I can't live
there
like
you
that.
go. Well, have your beer delivered.
Nah, I'm not a chicken like that.
Nah, I don't call you something. She will call you a chicken. You don't gotta sell yourself. But I got my little cubby over here. I'm waiting for these guys to get done with all this shit so I can, you know, set up some. I might take the furniture I got on the inside, even if the termites eventually get to it, and have a little social gathering area with my little refrigerator full of snow beer. Carlsberg, if I can get. They got my Modelo now, but they want a king's ransom for it. They want the price of a case of beer for 6 beers. That stuff's good, man. It's nice and smooth. Modelo, ex Modelo
The Mexican
Special. Yeah, Mexican beer. It's good stuff, man. I'm telling you, it's smooth. Yeah, it's fantastic to drink it. I haven't said that about a beer. I don't know how long. But no bitterness, boy. Got a different looking bottle. But like, how do you get Modelo? Well, when you go to stores around here, that's why they got these mail order places like Lazada where you order it. Because if you go in any store here, you might get Tiger beer, but otherwise it's San Miguel for everything. What kind of beer you got here? San Miguel. No,
good enough for
Yeah, I'm not a beer person, so for me it would not be a problem.
What do you drink?
I drink
I'm not-
vodka or Bacardi Ras or whiskey.
Whiskey. Yeah. No, that says that turns people mean, man. I was doing a little playful not punch and just goofing around with one of the girlfriends. He freaked out, man. She I gotta call my sponsor, Al-Anon, or she had a cousin that was an alcoholic. What did she belong
Hey.
to, Al-Anon?
Speaking of hard liquor, where's Simon?
That's why I think that's what inspired me to start that conversation. I might
Maybe
be
it's
in bed.
Started.
He might be in bed with the pigeons. Yeah.
It's only 3 in the afternoon in England.
Yeah, I see those pictures of his kids. Man, they grew up in front of us here.
Hey, here
Little,
in the States, we turn our clocks ahead this weekend.
I'm
So
on
we'll
the
be
same
back
time.
to 12 hour difference from you.
Yeah, we will
8:30.
have a lot of fun, Monk.
A lot of fun, yeah. Christian went through the condoms like you wouldn't believe. Yeah, I don't know if I can fly up there from here. I don't know. I know I can go to Cebu, but Cebu I can go to not Bolton, Bohol, Pangalo. What's that other one? Bacolod, Iloilo. Macan's, that's where the airport is in Cebu, next door. They built a brand new bridge there. Supposed to save on time and all this other shit. But like I said, we live in on the Ring of Fire, and they built it looks like a bridge that's it's called the Sky Bridge in Florida, in Tampa, across the bay.
Yeah,
And,
I've gone.
Hey, you know what's funny? When I used to go down there in the '90s all the time, and they have all these causeways to get down to Clearwater. And my ex-father-in-law showed me this. He showed me this bridge, and the engineer fucked it up. He started from one end, and he started from another end. When they got to the middle, it was about 20 feet apart. One was lower. One.
Back,
was-
Skyway Bridge got one side of it got taken down. Remember, barge hits it.
Yeah. Yeah, I get hit. But I mean, I think these causeway, I think this one I'm talking about, if I remember it right, which is hard to do, is back in the 90s. But it didn't work. Somebody got fucking canned. You know, I mean, there's a big difference, man. The one met it at the bottom of the other one, you know. So I said, so what do they do? It isn't like you can, repave it, that kind of thing. You have to tear one side down.
Hey, my wife and one daughter are going down there next weekend. Tampa.
Well, why don't you come out here then?
See my son. No, they're just going for the weekend. My son's got a rugby match they want to go watch.
Well, yeah, I saw that picture of you and your kids.
I'm staying here with my youngest daughter. She's got a musical that she's performing in for high school, so I'm
How old is
staying here
she?
with her. 17.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm thinking about renting a 3-bedroom place.
You know, my doctor that I go to this detox thing from, she told me that the best place for me to go to live around, if a heart hospital would either be Cebu or Makati. I love it all, man. I can live in the city.
Chris, didn't you say your girl is in Mindanao, right? I forget what city is it.
Cagayan. Cagayan de Oro.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you what. If I ever hit the lottery here in the States, I'll hook my friends up over there. We'll go. Tony lives in Butuan. Chris will be
You
in
can live
the,
across the
Chris
Monk, you
wants
can
to
live
be-
across the bridge in Cebu City from Bacolod. Cebu is right. It's right. Hop, skip, and a jump. Bacolod's kind of laid back, I hear.
But I definitely, if I had that kind of money, I'd pay for all of y'all to fly and meet somewhere so we can get together.
Well, you got the money. Buy us some tickets. Shit.
You don't want to get on a plane anyway.
You mean you? Well, come on, man. I
Factor.
mean, how many of us live here now? You're like the new Gary.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm the last-
well, hey, Kiko, I'm not kidding. Unless I could get the regular coach seat that has nothing, no seats in front of it, up by the restrooms and the front wing, the door,
Yeah.
where I can stand up. I can't fucking do that, man. I mean, I was in the kid next to me. He was from the same town as my wife was. I couldn't believe it. What are the odds, you know?
Where
He
is
said, "Are you-"
CDO
He's-
again?
He said, "Are you okay?" Because when I always go, oh,
I'm
and,
sorry. Hey,
Where is CDO?
yeah,
Got
it's on the island of Mindanao. If you look on a map, it's along the northern west coast of Mindanao. Tony is over on the east in Butuan City.
it,
If
it
you follow
is.
the coast for a few hours, you could drive to Cagayan de Oro.
It's 3.5. It's about 3.5 hours from where I am, west of
By what? Your personal car or
by car. Well, whatever. 3.5 hours.
bus would be a lot longer because they stop everywhere. So
Yeah, probably 7 with them guys. And a non-aircon too. Don't ever do that.
but I would think it sounds like that city called Malaybalay up in the mountains south of Cagayan de Oro. That sounds like a good retirement city for me. Cooler up there in the mountains. And it's not that far to Cagayan de Oro, a bigger city.
Well, they got a lot of. Well, I heard that's a good place. This older couple, at my visit in 2013, I came here. This guy, his wife Filipina, and they split time between California and Cagayan, and he gave me his email. His wife got mad at him.
Kristen, did you
Reset.
see that on the at all? Did you see CDO on a map if you're looking at one?
Yeah, Monk sent me a picture.
Yeah. Actually, it means city of gold in their language.
I'd
So
like to
it
meet
must
up.
have mining going on along there.
There's,
But he sent me a close-up picture.
Uh-huh.
I see Valencia City, Malabalay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Malai Balai, I think I would. Supposedly that's up in the mountains, and I've seen videos there. It looks like it'd be a nice place to retire.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be that far. You could take a direct road, but you can't. You got to go around the mountains, and if your friend had a nice quick trip to see Tony, but not too many helicopters, personal helicopters there.
Yeah. You want to be somewhere where you can venture out and get used to the area before you go living up in the hills. You know?
Well, I would rent. First I'd rent for a month, and then check it out, and then if I liked it, I'd find a place and live 6 months. And I told my wife I'm not going to buy property over there. Well, she's a U.S. citizen now too, so I'd just go there to rent. Because all my kids are going to be States. I'm not going to be leaving any property, any family in the Philippines.
You're too Karipo, huh?
Well, as long as you don't move to Zamboanga, I think it's okay.
Zamboanga. Yeah.
Did you ever watch that guy? He's a YouTuber called, his channel is called Regular Guy.
No.
He just went to Zamboanga. He all he does is he has a backpack with all his life possessions, and he rents motorcycles and drives around the Philippines. And he's on an endless quest, I guess, to find a woman, maybe someday. But
Well,
Hey, how old is this guy? How old is this guy? How old is he?
I think maybe in his 40s, late 40s.
Well, then if he's over here and he's in his 40s already, he's a fucking loser. Or he's on some kind of.
I heard that that place over there is a lot of problems with people believing in Allah and stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, you know what? We got him.
He's like that.
We got him around here where I live, and nobody, and they work. Some work for the government. They come around here to take survey. None of them are any problem. It's just when you start to discuss politics and religion, they get all up in you. But the thing for me here, this is how I wake up every morning. The Christians and the Muslims are in fucking competition, because at 4:30, the Muslim thing, where they shout into the wind, loudspeaker, and then come the Catholics after that, where they got the singing and all that stuff.
Church bells.
Every day, man. Every day.
The roosters and the dogs always kick in. So
they trump those roosters and dogs. I ain't
Really?
kidding you, man.
you
Yeah,
have the call to prayer there in this one.
dude, it's so loud, and one will play it right in back of the other ones,
Uh-huh.
all the time.
I couldn't live like that.
That time of the morning, well, because I'm a night guy, but
Funny, I never remember hearing that when I was in Bootwap. That was 25 years ago.
well, that if you lived right here, right here where I am, you would hear it. It's not a whole city wide. I don't believe, probably just the area. But it reminds me.
I was out by the airport, so I didn't hear anything. Fantastic. Oh, that place.
Yeah, I would. My wife, the only other family my wife's got is in Naga City, up there by Chris. And so, if I went to somewhere different, it would they would have.
I don't mind churches, Monk, as long as you don't need to wake up 4 in the morning yelling out something.
Well, but where's that movie from Sinbad? La, 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 la.
Yeah, I couldn't live like that. I either shoot myself or shoot them. That's if I lived like that.
You mean you don't have that in Norway, Christian? No.
Hey, there's been a
No,
lot
I
of
know we
trouble.
have one place in Oslo, but I'm not living there.
Oh, okay.
You know what they do here? They get a lot of rain here. And this morning, this one trip, I started going the long way around Kiko. I started going down by SM and then turning left on Aquino down to Montelia over to my kid's school because it's just a better road, less water. But the government they give the job to some poor people, and what's fucked up about it is grass holds water. If you're going to have a lot of water, it holds water. They got all these people taking all the grass out. So there's just mud, dirt turns into mud. It's all over the road. They need to be cutting it like we cut it, but they have lawnmowers, but you got to order them from Ace Hardware or something. But they use a weed whacker. That's how they do lawns here. We don't need it. Yeah. Well, I'm in a good spot here. Christian's up there in Sin City.
Well, I think that's all he's experienced so far, right, Christian?
That's all he
for a
wants.
couple days.
Yeah, that's all I experienced so far.
Well, you'd probably like Cebu too. Cebu City is a big city like Manila.
Yeah.
Well,
but,
you watch.
Then again, it's always problem with flying somewhere or.
Where am I going?
I bet you there are straight flights from Thailand to Cebu.
Up to Cebu.
Yeah, might be, but I also seen a lot of
I don't know about
movies,
that.
YouTube things from Cebu. I think it's a lot more squatter areas there than many
they're all
other.
Dude, you'll see most of the houses you see are squatter. You're thinking, huh?
Yeah, I have driven a little around.
But the government don't say nothing because they don't got.
So when you were up there with Ronald, how did you get around? Did you take trikes, or did Ronald have a driver, or how did you go around?
Trike and Will, or what his name was, he had a car.
You didn't put that new app on your phone, Dial-A-Whore? You have them come right to your house.
So did you go to Irish pub?
No.
Oh, you didn't go to that one, huh? Did you not see Daryl at all? Did you not meet him?
No.
Oh.
Only Ronald and Will, or what his name was. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I'll be back soon. I need smoke.
Okay.
It's 11:30 here.
Yeah, so maybe next week. Right now you're starting the live stream at what? 7:20 your time, right? Or no, 9:20.
No, 9. It'll be 9:20.
Not next week. You can start it at 8:20.
8:20. Yeah, 8:20.
That'd be better. Then you can get to bed at your decent time instead of having to stay up this late, right?
Yeah.
So maybe try to remind yourself if you're going to have one next week to make it 8:20 your time.
I'm 7 hours east of not 7, 3.5 to 4 hours east of Cagayan. Butuan. Butuan. Like Bootjuan. Butuan. Fanatic.
Yeah, Chris, it's not far from you. I mean, we're Cagayan de Oro. You just ride the coastline highway. I think there's a road coastline east, and you'll hit Butuan City eventually.
Yeah, they
Would you
got
say
the last,
2.5 to 4 hours, something like that?
no,
depending on
3.5 to 4.
3.5 to 4.
Because that's
And
the
I don't.
nearest. That's the nearest SNR. See, all these other cities like Cebu and all that, they got Western conveniences at these stores, but not where I am.
So
McDonald's
what?
doesn't
Who?
even serve a fish, man.
Where's the nearest SNR and CDO?
CDO for me, yeah, CDO and
Oh,
then
okay.
Davao, yeah.
Okay.
I can't get that here.
I'm gonna have to ask someone how far it is driving from CDO to Malaybalay City, the one
I'm in
that I want to look at.
$12. Huh? Where's this? OZ? Damas?
Ozamis. Yeah, that's further west in Mindanao.
Yeah, I got a brother-in-law just moved back here from Cagayan, he's an electrician. His wife, they're having their fourth kid. I guess it wasn't planned, and she didn't know she was pregnant till for a while. Till later on, they just thought she was getting fat.
Wait,
Sounds like the
who's getting fat?
brother-in-law's wife.
Oh, and she
Well,
didn't
now
realize the reason she's getting fat.
well, she does now, but back when, yeah, well, that'd be the fifth one for him, the fourth for her. But now they're hurting for money. So
Now,
I said,
remember, Tony, who was it was up in Habonga? Is that just when you went to Lake Mayanit? Was that just
Yeah,
like
my
a
wife.
recreation place or what?
No, it was a fishing village, but they built
Right.
they built a hydroelectric power plant, so all the fish are gone.
But none
And
of
the
your wife's family's from there, right?
yeah, that's when they first came to Mindanao from Naga, they went to Awonga.
Oh, okay.
Fishing was good. I don't know how that
Oh,
town survived. I don't know how they survived there now. They put up a gambling casino and all this other shit. The house that my mother-in-law lived in, she didn't own the land, the house. The old lady, and she didn't have the title for it. The old lady sold it for 60,000 peso, and it's right across the street from the lake.
so did your wife like grow up there? How old
Yeah,
was she
yeah.
when she moved from there?
Yeah, she grew up there. She moved there. She moved from there when I married her.
Oh, okay. So she never lived in Butuan until you got married.
Yeah, kind of. They were shuffling, driving fish down here, every day.
Okay.
So it got to a point where let's just stay in Butuan now.
So
water.
how much time does it take to drive from where you're at to Habonga?
It's about 2 hours, maybe something like
Yeah.
that.
Because when I was there with my wife and our two oldest children that we have, that's the last time I was there, and that's about almost 20 years ago. We were in Butuan, and then we took, I think, maybe a bus up to Surigao City because she still
Yeah, I've
had
done
an
that.
auntie and cousins, and that's where my wife went to college, was Surigao City.
You got
So
Surigao, and the island is Shariga.
I think
Something.
we might have taken a van. I might have paid for a van for all of us to drive up and visit her auntie, and she showed me the college where she went to college, and then we did the return trip. I remember going by Lake Mayanich and her telling me that's what it was.
Moncayo? The monkey? Oh yeah, you know what? I was just monkey. It reminded me of the story that this guy I worked with that passed away a few years ago. He you remember Kiko? You'd remember this. At Woolworth, they used to sell exotic animals. I don't know about your
yeah.
Woolworth.
The
Well,
fish.
see, everything. So they had a monkey cage. I don't know if they're spider monkeys. Had to have been. I don't know about chimp, but his dad wanted to get one. So every day, they'd go by there and they go when they went to the store. The wife, he'd ask the wife, "Nah, you ain't getting no fucking monkey," So one day the daddy always feeds it. He goes and feeds it, and the monkey took the food, and he threw some shit at him, and it hit him. And his mom. This is hilarious because it sounds like today's mom. His mom says, "How do you like that fucking monkey now?" He said his dad couldn't reach. He could only get in the cage so far. But he was trying. He was trying like a.
Trying to wring that monkey's neck.
I can imagine that, man. He wanted to kill the fucker, you know. He's like, he reminded me of my dad with his bullshit attitude, you know. It couldn't happen to a better guy, you know. But like with all this time, he wanted one so bad, then the monkey went and shit in his hand and flung it at him, you know. That happened to my cousin they were at a zoo, a petting zoo or a regular zoo. And he was standing next to this guy in the monkey, because the monkeys, when they get fuck around, they'll jack off and fucking shoot this shit all over each other. And then when they run out of that shit, they'll crap in their hands and fling it, you know. And I was in the Pittsburgh zoo with him, matter of fact. Spider Monkey took that worker's sub sandwich. That fucker, he put it out there a little bit, and that monkey went, took the whole thing. Yeah, that was hilarious. Can you imagine that, though? I could just visualize his dad getting pissed like mine did, you know? Yeah. Oh, man. Fucking good. So good. I'm gonna catch a cold, man. That neighbor, you know, they don't cover their mouth here when they cough. What a bitch. I kept revolving like I was going in a circle to try to get away from his cough. Like, okay, what way is the wind blowing from? I think I want to get going, man.
Okay, you took your pill already, right? So you're
I gotta give the wife a ride to church tomorrow.
In the morning.
Yeah. I told my wife, I said, how come you're never late when you want to go to church, but you're late for taking the kid to school?
Yeah.
All right,
What
Dave,
time
Mom. What?
What time do you have to take her to church? What time do you got to leave the house?
It starts at 8:00.
So how long does it take you to get there?
Shit. 12 minutes, maybe?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll see you guys next week.
Okay, remember maybe change the time to 8:20 your time.
Yeah, well, I'll still put I'll put down my time for 7:30. That never changes that,
What do you mean?
right?
No, if you do it 7:30 your time, it's 7:30 here my time.
8:30. Oh, well.
Yeah, do it 8:20 your time. Today you started at 9:20 your time, correct?
You went ahead. You're going back, or you're springing ahead.
Yeah, we're springing ahead, so we're only 12 hours difference from you starting next Sunday.
Yeah, 7.
All right.
Yes. Yep. 7, 8.
So 8:20.
8:20.
Right.
I said.
Write down.
Uncle, take care.
All right. See you, Chris. See you later, Christian. Take care.
Christopher.
All right, Tony. Have a good week.
You too, everybody.
All right. Later. Bye-bye.
Bye.